Hey guys, so in this video I want to talk about the Pokemon investing market landscape and talk about, some potential deals and plays that I think people can make in the short term. And if you're not really wanting to do anything in the short term, maybe we'll talk about things that you can do in the interim while we wait for reprints to come to set yourself up for better long-term investments. But before we get too deep into the video, just your daily dose of Sword and Shield booster box plays. Not too much going on. I think we're going to see a fair amount of stagnation in a lot of these boxes over the next couple months or so, maybe even longer than that. Maybe we'll just see really slow growth over time. But Astral Radiance and Silver Tempest both still in that 240, 250 range. Chilling Rain, most recent sale was 380, still sitting below $400. Lost Origins around that $400 price point. I believe there's a sale for 370 today. Brilliant Stars is in that $300 range still. And then Fusion Strike, this was a cool one. You did have one sale over 505 or over $500 rather yesterday, and then one today at 470. But that's first time ever I believe we've had a sale over $500 on TCG Player. So that's pretty interesting to see. And I think Fusion Strike's probably the box to watch outside of Evolving Skies, just to see what's going to happen to Sword and Shield over the next 6 months or so. Because if this one continues to move upwards, I do think then a lot of these boxes will follow a similar trend. But if Fusion Strike does go sideways for a long period of time, I doubt that any of these are going to see massive gains. Now moving to the first play and the first investment that you could make, Paldea Evolved. I'm a huge fan of Paldea Evolved. I bought all my boxes at like $92, $93 USD back earlier this year, and maybe I bought for the wrong reasons. At the time I was buying, I was a much larger fan of depth, and I consider depth to be much more important than a top chase card. So when I looked at the set, and still now there is a ton of depth, right? You have the Raichu, the Tyranitar, Meryl has somehow moved into $33 range, Choyu's over 25, Mousehold is $23, $24, Skeledirk's over 20, Tinkatong, Fuecoco, Chien Pao, Sprigatito, Heracross, Meowscarada, you have all of them, right? Very strong set. The Ono is $65, and then the Magikarp has pulled away, right? This used to be an $80, $90 card, even lower than that at one point, like 40, 50. It's now $220. Like, it's a legit top tier card, and that gives me confidence that Paldea Evolved will do better in the long term than I thought it was going to previously do. I thought it was going to be a decent set, but now that has a legit top tier chase. I really do think this could be one of the best sets in Scarlet and Violet era. And even when you rank them right now, like the only thing I'd probably put above it is Surging Sparks. Like maybe you make an argument that Twilight, just because the Greninja is so strong. I mean, maybe Twilight's better than it, right? But those two I think are pretty close. But yeah, Paldea Evolved. It's a much older set as well, and this is something I didn't touch on. A lot of these newer sets, right? Like Journey Together sold out instantly at 160, 150 plus tax, so you're over 170 on those boxes. Stellar Crown's moving into that 160 range. Twilight Masquerade's almost $200. A lot of these sets are primed to still get reprints. So, a set like Paldea that already had a reprint, which really didn't do too much to the box price, and is also 1.5 years old, almost 2 years old at this point, it's less likely we're going to see a reprint on this. So I'd be much more inclined to put money into Paldea Evolved at $200 than to buy any of these newer sets at MSRP or, Stellar Crown as well, a little bit below MSRP. That's just my opinion. That's kind of the first box I want to talk about. It's really the only booster box I'm going to bring up. There are a couple products still on the Pokemon Center, which I think could eventually get bought out. So one is going to be these Hisuian Electrode V boxes. There's still 6,000 of these in stock, and I can understand why. It's probably not the best price per pack, but you still have two Lost Origin and a Brilliant in here, and then Astral is whatever. It's probably Astral's kind of moved into that, what would that be, 6 or 7 spot in terms of Sword and Shield booster boxes now, probably behind Silver Tempest and above Battle Styles, I'd say. So, it's not as sought after, and I kind of thought it was going to do a bit better, but still really decent product. And eventually, once Lost Origin moves into that $10, $11 Canadian a pack range, these are going to get bought out. It's like $8.50 USD, something like that. That's when we'll see these get bought out, I imagine. Same thing with these Clara and Cyrus premium collections. You can buy these cheaper, so don't buy these on the Pokemon Center yet. Hobbiesville still has 30 of the Clara ones. I put a post up about these maybe 2 weeks ago, and there was like 100 of each, 90 of each still in stock. The Cyrus ones are all gone. and the Clara ones you have 30 left. I think I just said that. So these are going to go soon. You're paying sub $6 Canadian per pack for Sword and Shield is what it works out to. And if you have a a discount code or something, whatever, you get a little bit more back off of that. So it's a good price Canadian to get these, and I think even USD, right? What would that come to? Like 430, 435, and I do believe there's a fusion in these as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, still a really decent deal. These will get bought out. Other sites like 401 Games, I'm sure you guys in the States can probably find these at a good price. So a lot of these products are still going to go. And there are other things on the Pokemon Center like 2-pack blisters. I think these are going to go eventually, right? Like we're almost at that point where the Fusion Strike alone is paying for the whole blister pack, or maybe a couple dollars off at this point, because I think Fusion's like 10.50 Canadian, and that'll probably move up to that $12 range quite quickly. At which point you're literally paying $1 or less for a Battle Styles pack, right? So it'll just make sense. These will eventually get bought out probably in the coming months, and a lot of things have sold out on the Pokemon Center, right? So shout out to Logan. You sent me an email because I brought up those Darkness and Stacking tins in a video like a week ago. They did come with 2 Lost Origin and a Chilling Reign, so those were great buys. There were other mini tins that had Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign. Those all went. So even the quick ball tins, or not the quick ball, the lure ball, whatever they were, they had a Lost Origin, a Silver, and an Astral, I believe. Like all of those sold out, and I thought those were gonna be, at least a couple more months before people bought those. But hey, like everyone's just buying Sword and Shield right now. So anything Sword and Shield over the next couple of months at MSRP is, or below MSRP, right? Like on Hobbiesville, all this stuff is just going to continue to go. And outside of this, I think Blooming Waters is going to be a decent play. These actually did come online, Costco Canada, this morning. You could buy a limit of 10 units per membership, and they were up for maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. So if you get the notification, if you're ready to go, it kind of makes sense to buy these. I think this will probably be something that gets restocked again. Like who knows? Time will tell. I've heard other people say, when they go to their actual physical store, there's lots there still. So maybe if you have a Costco around you, go check it out in person, or just do a bit of research and see if there are going to be some there physically in store. But if not online, that's a good choice as well. And I think other 151 products are just going to be pretty much a really good choice, because look, 151 right now, almost $11 USD for a pack. So if you get a restock of Blooming Waters, if you see a restock of booster bundles, and I've heard some people talk about potentially booster bundles getting a reprint or restock from distro. I don't know if that's actually true or going to be the case, but if you find 151 at retail, I think it's just a pure buy. It really doesn't matter what product it is, whether it's the Zapdos boxes, the poster collections, Blooming Waters. I think it's all just going to be worth doing, even if these if these booster pack prices come back down to $8-9, maybe they even go to $7. Like it's still going to make sense to buy this product, especially we're getting to a point where we're almost outside the print cycle of 151, like within this year, right? Like that's probably going to be the last time we see it. I doubt they would reprint 151 into 2026. I never say never on anything, right? And again, I don't have distro access, so I'm kind of just pulling shit out of my ass. But based on life cycles of print and what everyone says, this is probably the last year for 151. Prismatic, if you get it at MSRP, I think it's going to be obviously a great buy, and you won't regret it, even if they reprint the set into Oblivion, which I'm kind of expecting them to do eventually. That's going to happen. But if you buy it at MSRP, you're good to go. And speaking of reprints, if you want to wait for Surging Sparks reprint, people have basically confirmed at this point that is going to get a reprint. So if you want to wait for that and potentially pick up some more boxes, again, I have no clue where the price would go once we get a reprint, but if it's a significant drop, if we see this even at $200, I'm probably going to buy more Surging Sparks boxes. If it's below that rather, I'm probably going to buy a lot more than just a few, and build another sizable position into Surging Sparks, because it is by far the best set in Scarlet and Violet era to have a booster box so far, and one of the best sets I would say outside of 151. I think those are really close, and Prismatic, is going to be in that conversation now as well. But yeah, wait for Surging Sparks reprint. Maybe you want to wait for other things like Twilight Masquerade, because I think this is prime for a reprint. Maybe even Paldean Fates. So there's going to be a lot of options going into this year, guys. Don't FOMO into products that you don't think are good. Be smart with your money. You know, obviously, if you're buying it to flip it or whatever, fair play. But if you want to get a good price on a lot of these newer sets coming out, you know, I would just wait, and there will be opportunities, right? So don't stress about that. If you want to keep making plays into Sword and Shield, I think that's a good choice right now as well. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.